So why most guitar teachers haven't adopted it? Well, lack of pedagogical awareness. That's just going to be a way of teaching people. So big word for how to teach learners. So many teachers don't fully consider the visual cognitive load placed on beginners. So a lot of times this gets into the idea of if you're a master at something, if you've mastered the skill, it's difficult to put your mind back in the beginner's mindset to help the beginner to learn. And again, sometimes teachers get that resentment issue, and they're like, well, they should be able to do it this way. This is the way I did it, and this is the way I'm not going to try to make it easy on you or anything. So they assume students can flip what they're seeing. But just from a practical standpoint, obviously that takes a bigger cognitive load to do, which means that if you're working on flipping the guitar around in your mind, you're not working on as much, at least, not as much of your mind is working on whatever you're trying to learn, the song, the intervals, and so on. But early learners benefit from direct one-to-one correspondence between what they see and what they do, especially when it comes to finger placement and chord shapes. So this is what I want to point out just in terms of, like, people might say, well, the new people these days have tremendous advantages in some ways with video presentations and tools to flip the guitar around and so on. But a lot of people that learned in the past were learning, if they have the benefit of learning, especially one-on-one with somebody, then you get that interaction that people can actually move your fingers around and you can talk directly. So with a video presentation, you can speed up and slow down the video presentation, but you can't get that really one-on-one direct communication clearly, again, there's pros and cons to different formats of learning. Obviously, what we would like to do is optimize all of them if we can get access to them so that we can get the benefits, making each of them as optimal given the type of learning platform that is being used. So this key insight often goes unnoticed unless a teacher has a student, how visual learners acquire physical skills. So a lot of times, actually, like it used to be that grade school teachers were quite good, like they had a lot of training on how people learned, but it turns out that smaller or younger people learn differently than older people, or they have different motivations at least. Some of it, overlaps. But a lot of times guitar players might not have any of that teacher training. They just know what worked for them. So if you're looking at someone that's not really teacher oriented, they're basically a good guitar player that says, hey, I might as well teach. They might not have learned like just teaching skills, and they basically are saying, this is the way I see it, and I'm telling you the way I see it. And obviously other people don't all see it that way, and we learn differently. Some people are visual learners versus audio learners versus tactile learners. Many masters of guitars are most likely more tactile orientated. They like to touch the guitar, they noodle around with the thing. So another reason, technical inertia. While mirroring a video is simple with today's tools, many teachers aren't comfortable with editing software or video production techniques. So when you go from an on-ground situation to an online situation, oftentimes the camera really makes things more difficult. When I went from on-ground to online teaching, it was in the field of accounting originally, where you don't need a camera, right? It's just screencasting. That makes it a little bit easier. When you have to put the camera in there, you got to deal with another range of issues. And obviously, you're going to start off with the camera just right in front of you, you would think, and have a basic camera angle. So they may record lessons quickly with the minimal post-production, unaware that mirroring could be done in seconds. So they're probably thinking, I'm going to try to, and they're probably focusing on making it look nice, right? Not so much maybe to optimize a new technique that could be utilized given the video presentation software, because I haven't really thought about it, because you couldn't do that until you had the video presentation software to edit. Professional ego or image concerns. Some teachers avoid mirroring videos because it flips recognizable logos, tattoos, or the text of a t-shirt. So obviously, when we're on platforms and whatnot, and the gears to get attention, so you might clearly be trying to do things in order to build a brand, And to flip the guitar around and make it look like you're left-handed when you're not left-handed could lead people to think, well, he's left-handed, or he thinks he's doing something weird, or the logo on the shirt is not right. It's bad. His hat doesn't look cool the way it is, or something. So it might be. So if you got your cool T-shirt and your tattoos, the whatever are backwards, the words are backwards. That's not good. So they prioritize. I don't know. They prioritize their appearance over the learner's ease of comprehension. So I'm just saying, I get that to some degree, of course, because obviously they're trying to advance the algorithm or whatnot so they can get the information out there. And if they don't get the information out there, they're not going to be able to, influence as many people or make it a career or whatnot. So actually the learning sometimes takes a backseat to trying to market the thing, which is something that in my career I've struggled with my entire career. It's like the balancing act. I want to learn things and teach things, but you spend all this time doing like marketing, which I really don't want to do. So, but anyway,